welcome back everyone to Let's Talk About It. We are your hosts, Gile
Oratile
and Kuta. This podcast is basically three girls talking through life, thoughts, faith, memories, and all the weird ideas we think about at 2 a.m. Think of it as a group chat, but with microphones. Aura, how are you today?
I'm doing alright. I'm really excited for today's episode because I feel it's a very important thing to talk about. So yeah, how are you doing?
I'm not gonna lie to you, baby girl, I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. I think this is a really it's a heavy topic today. So I'm not even gonna lie to you, I am a bit nervous about it, but I am also really excited. Kutu, how are you feeling?
I am excited. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I feel a lot of emotions because today's topic is those ones where I encourage you to sit back and really relax because it's about to be a roller coaster of emotions.
And I mean, I just also want to, before I give it back to Aura, I know I said this last week, but I'm just feeling so sentimental as well today because today is also the last day for this series. And I just feel like the series has really, it's also changed me, you know, going through it, the preparation behind the scenes for this topic. But even just listening to the conversations afterwards, I've really, my mind is kind of sort of remorphed itself. So I am feeling a little bit sentimental and a bit sad. But Aura, take us away.
Yes, okay, we're going into our first segment we're doing a Would You Rather today. I think this is the first time we do one of these, and I'm very excited. Okay, all right, guys. Let's start with Would You Rather. So, would you rather always speak your mind or never speak again? I feel it's an easy thing, but please.
I think I would rather never speak my mind than always speak my mind, right?
Yeah, never speak again or always speak your mind.
Oh, speak my mind.
Yeah.
Never speak again.
Yeah, I will always speak my mind.
I don't think that's gonna help anyone, even myself.
Yeah.
So speak my mind.
And I feel like sometimes we get so caught up with I don't know what I don't know if people are gonna think about me, but I also sometimes think just say what you think. Just say it the way it is. There we go. Ora, I know you would never speak again.
No. I would most definitely always speak my mind. Because I tell no lies. But okay, that's a whole nother conversation because there's so much to it, like the whole speaking your mind thing. But okay, next, would you rather? Would you rather know the history of everything you've ever touched or be able to talk to animals?
Animals.
And touch everything.
No.
There's just some things I don't need to know.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Low-key, I would go with the history. I would. I love the concept of not being able to communicate with animals through words. Well, animals communicating in their own way and me communicating in my own way. I love that concept. Cause sometimes I be talking to my dog and I'm like, talk back at me, girl. Say something. And she just be huffing and puffing, but then I know she heard me and she's just giving me attitude in her own way, which I love. Okay, would you rather have the ability to see 10 minutes into your future or 150 years into the future?
Let's be honest, I'm not going to be alive 50 years in the future. But at the same time, I think having the ability to see 10 minutes into the future might also be so weird because you get a moment without context. And so you could interpret it very weirdly. But I think I would take the 10 minutes.
I would take 150 because I won't be here, so I can actually enjoy the idea of knowing what everyone doesn't. I'm like, I know in 150 years I won't be here, but I know what's going to happen. Because sometimes you question when I'm gone, what will happen. But in 10 minutes, I'm going to, anyways, experience whatever I'm going to experience in 10 minutes. But the 150 is always that what is going to happen in 10 years from now. But in 150 years, I would love to know. What about you, Ura?
I want to say neither, but I have to choose one. So I'll go with the 10 minutes because I kind of don't want to know a lot of. I feel like there's certain things I'm just like, I really don't want to know. I genuinely don't want to know because it leaves you with like something that it's going to be one of those like 2 a.m. thoughts. I don't like to I'm an
Mm.
overthinker, like a serial overthinker. I'm always overthinking everything. I won't be here in 150 years, but I'm still gonna think about it. And I'm like, how do we prevent the world to look like that in 150 years? Like, yeah,
Also, it's like you're not seeing one moment. You probably could be having, like, you could be seeing so many different moments in 150 years. It's just like unnecessarily too much knowledge.
exactly. Okay, the last would you rather? Would you rather teleport anywhere instantly or be able to read minds?
I was actually I don't know if you guys remember that scene in Twilight, where they're out on a date and he says, I can read everyone's mind in this room except for yours. And she's like, really? And he just goes like, that one's thinking about food, and like, he like cats, and he like goes through everyone's thoughts. And I was like, that kind of feels a little bit invasive, but it also, like, it could be like, because it was their date conversation about what everyone was thinking. I just thought that would kind of be cool. Like, I just thought about it now. Like, the scene came into my head where he's like talking about everyone's minds.
No,
So yeah,
no.
I'd be just for like a day though, not every day, just one day.
No.
Can you wait? Can you imagine the gossip and lore you would hear?
No.
Okay, but anyways.
No. Listen, the amount of thoughts. Okay, so like in 5 minutes, you can have like 6, 10 different thoughts. Now you can hear 50 billion thoughts. It's too much thoughts for me. That would just, it's a gag for me. I would rather teleport anyway because imagine now it's summer here in South Africa and I just need to feel a little cold. I teleport somewhere else where it's cold and I can come back. Teleportation is the way. If you watch the movie Jumper, I don't know if you've watched that. It's called Jumper, right? That movie, that guy just teleports here. Okay, if it wasn't illegal, because there was like there were like teleportation police. But if it wasn't like illegal or anything like that, I am teleporting. If right now I want to be in the Bahamas doing my homework in the Bahamas, I'm taking my homework, teleporting there
In a bikini.
in a bikini with the Bundesliga. I will come back and I don't know.
Yeah.
And I can also teleport to my friends. Like I never have to climb a plane. I never have to go on in a car. If I'm going to church, I will never be late for church. I'll be never late for anything. I just teleport.
You, Ura?
Like I said, I'm an overthinker. So I feel like if I read people's thoughts, it's not that I would overthink their thoughts. I think it'll change the way I look at them. As it is, I feel like while reading into people's energy, like you can tell when somebody's like being a little off, you know? So now I know that you're off. I know what you think about me. I know how you process things, and I don't like that. It's gonna ruin so much of your relationships in your life. So definitely teleportation, because sometimes I just want to get out of here. So when I hear you are like you're frustrating me, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'll be back. I'll be back. But
Deuces.
yeah, that's all for the would you rather.
So, thank you so much, Aratile, for that lovely Would You Rather. I hope the audience enjoyed it. Though, we are still busy in our series called What is Love? This series is all about love in all its forms, romantic love, friendship love, family love, confusing love, the kind of love that makes perfect sense, and the kind that makes you sit there at 2 a.m. overthinking everything. And today's topic is, am I hard to love? So, so recently, I've been seeing a lot of girls online and even hearing conversations among friends about wanting to be in relationships and wanting to be loved, but feelings like no matter how hard they try, it just doesn't happen for them. And even though people don't always say it directly, you often hear things like, is there something wrong with me? Why do I keep meeting the wrong guys? Why does it seem so easy for everyone else? And somewhere in between the lines, the real question starts to appear. Am I hard to love? Now, we, Kele, Oratile, and Kuzo aren't actively looking for relationships right now, but I think we've all had moments, sometimes joking, sometimes sarcastic, where we thought something along those lines. So today, we're actually going to go there and talk about it honestly. Yes, honestly.
Ugh, yo, I think, yo, when I think about this topic, I actually was telling them the other night as we were just going through the script and just like like we have a script, guys, just of like ideas of what we want to say, where do you want to go, how we want to navigate. And as we were going through it, I was like just thinking about this topic, I was getting emotional, because it really, really bothered me to be like, I want to ask that, like, what does it mean to be hard to love? Like, is that a real thing? Does it even exist for someone to be hard to love? Because it felt like such a huge, huge question to ask. Um, so I think like it's best to start to open this with that. Is that what does it mean to be hard to love? Is that a real thing?
I would love to begin. And okay, firstly, hard to love. Yo, this could mean a lot of things for a lot of people. I don't think there's one definition for that. Though for me, hard to love could be being selfish. Can I say that? Can I say selfish? Being selfish. You make it hard for someone to love you by being selfish, by being self centered, by being mean. Being mean to people can make it hard for people to love you. And it is a real thing. I'm sorry. I have to say, it is a real thing. It's some people, I have no idea how to love them because they are hard to love. They have things about them that make you so frustrated in terms of just interacting with them. Loving them is so hard. So I believe it is a real thing. What do you think, Oratile? Spare us with your grace and share the wisdom with us.
Um, I think what it means to be hard to love is that you are hard to access, is essentially. Because I think when we're talking about the love, we're talking about like, you know, not the relationship, obviously, but the access to you, you know? Because obviously, love is not about like giving it all up, but it's about the access to your inner world a little bit. So I think what it means to be hard to love, it means that you are hard to access. You are hard to maybe understand. So, yes, it's a real thing. I think a lot of people have felt that in all kinds of relationships that we have spoken about on here. So, yes, it is a real thing and it happens probably a lot. I mean, that's why it's even a whole topic. So, yes.
I feel like I almost want to play devil's advocate, but I also hear your guys' point in the sense of some places I feel some people are not hard to love, but they're not your understanding and expectation of what love should be. And because it feels so foreign to you, you categorize it as hard to love. But also, I hear what Kuto was saying, that there is behaviors and aspects of a person that can feel very hard to love. But I also want to, I also think at times, like, obviously this is like in the more realism, like, us looking for something. But if I think of Kuto's opening statement about like friends who feel like, why don't I meet the right guys, am I hard to love, I think it has elements of people internalizing rejection and turning it into something personal, to say, because I'm being rejected by A, B, C, and D, therefore I am hard to love. And I almost want to turn that to you guys and say, do you guys feel like, when you think like Kuto, of the friends or of your guys' personal experiences and life, that do you guys think that it's easier to internalize rejection um, into something personal, of saying, maybe I am hard to love, especially if it's repeatedly? Yeah. Over to you, Ratile.
Yes. So I think a lot of us internalize things, you know? And a lot of times when we internalize, it's because we anticipate, can I say that? And a lot of the things is because of past past situations. So I know I'm bringing it to a different thing, trauma. Yes, trauma. Because uh, some people, I feel, when they have not healed or gone through like the processes, they go through this thing of like bringing those wounds into like relationships. So that's when the internalization of rejection comes into play. Because, okay, first of all, not a professional opinion, this is just my own processes, please. um, but yeah, I think that's where we start internalizing rejection, because we're anticipating it. Because you are comparing that situation to a situation that has happened before. So I think internalized rejection is like really like protection. So you are anticipating it so that it doesn't hit as hard when it happens, because things hurt more when you don't expect it. So internalized like rejection is just a form of protection. And I think your other question is, do we turn it into something personal? Absolutely, because it is personal. All the time it's personal. Because why I say it's personal to you is because it reminds you of something, you know? It's replaying a very hurtful time in your life. So, yes.
Wow, that was beautifully said. I definitely agree. I want to say, firstly, rejection is very personal. Like, I know rejection is not, it's not entirely always personal, but it can feel personal. Because rejection means no. It's like it's like the nicer, prettier version of someone saying no. And I don't think people are comfortable all the time being told no. And I think rejection is different because rejection is very um, you are very vulnerable. It has a level of vulnerability. Maybe not the highest level of vulnerability, but it's some form of a level of vulnerability. And someone rejecting you is hard. It's already hard. Let's just face the facts. Though, to turn it into something personal happens, yes. But as Ratile mentioned before, it's a way of people protecting themselves. And I think, yeah, I think sometimes people do. They really do. Um, I don't know, when you internalize rejection, it's like you want to also fix something about yourself so that that experience doesn't happen to you again. It's a way of fixing yourself. I think people use rejection as a way to make themselves become better, even though it has nothing to do with you at most times. It has everything to do with the person that rejected you because they're saying no about something that is of you. But if you are you and you've been rejected, I don't know, I can't necessarily say that it has anything to do with you. Unless it's something that you can improve on. But other than that, I think people do. They do that because they want to improve themselves, they want to better themselves, they don't want to be rejected.
I think if I, gosh, but I think, like to said, she put it so nicely. But if I touch on to what she said, her opening statement was trauma. And unfortunately, internalization, rejection, personal, making things personal, it always kind of sort of does reflect back on trauma. And I can definitely see how a very painful, traumatic experience can make someone very alert to, especially if it's something that, it was a very traumatic rejection, and you don't get answers. Unfortunately, in certain situations, you don't get answers for that. It's easy for someone to say, it's my fault. I put myself in that situation and I'll never put myself in that situation again. And so, therefore, it will never happen. And I think sometimes at times, like, it becomes scab over scab over scab over hurt, and it just becomes this layer of protection. And so I kind of also want to say this layer of protection, as much as it can feel, safe, but it can also push away the good people in your life. And so the question is, have you ever disqualified yourself from someone's love before they even had a chance to show it, and why?
Sure. Over to you, Ratile.
I don't like that you keep just throwing these things to Ratile.
I'm sorry, but she has so much wisdom to share on this, and I love to hear her opinion.
Okay, again, I think that this qualification comes from, like we said, like internalized rejection, which is also linked to your trauma. So you anticipating the rejection. So disqualifying yourself from somebody's love means you feel you're not good enough for the love, or you feel you need to perform for the love. So then you tell yourself, like, okay, for me, I need to give something in order to receive this said love. So I think all of us have at some point disqualified ourselves from it, because it's either we feel it's too much work to receive that love, or you feel you're not good enough for that love. So I don't know if I have been in a situation where I felt like I was not good enough for somebody's love, I would say I feel like it's too much work more. I would think a lot of times, um, if I'm internalizing this rejection, it's from a place of I feel like receiving your love is too much work for me. I don't think it's a level I can reach because of how high you have put that standard, which is okay. It's your own thing, but yeah, yeah, that's my take.
A situation that or experience that can make someone feel unworthy of love. Mm-mm. Unworthy of love? Mm-mm. The question, that's I'm making sure. The question is, have you ever disqualified yourself from someone's love before they even had a chance to show it, and why? I think. Okay. Okay. I think. Okay. Disqualification means you feel you're undeserving. Okay. No, wait. No, let me cook. Disqualification means that adds. Okay, I'm gonna use my examples to have permission. So, I have a good example, and I just need you guys to give me the opportunity to fail at this if I do. But if I don't explain it this way, I don't know how I can express it, and maybe you guys can summarize what I'm gonna explain. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Is that okay? Okay. Look it. Disqualified. It's like if you enter for a competition, and so you have to provide certain results to qualify. So you have to do some work. And then once you've worked, you can apply, and then if you're disqualified, well, okay, disqualification means you were accepted, and then yeah, when you're disqualified means you were already accepted, right? And then yes, you did something wrong. Yes. Okay, yes. So you work hard, you get accepted, but then you do something wrong, and then you get disqualified, right? Now, if you have disqualified yourself from someone's love without even trying, then isn't that self-sabotage? Because you haven't qualified. Like, okay, let me try and explain this. How can you disqualify yourself from somebody's love? How do you even qualify? Let's get to that question. How can I qualify for somebody's love to get disqualified from somebody's love? Like, it's actually, no, but think about it. To be disqualified, you need to qualify. How do you qualify to be disqualified for somebody's love? Ratile, am I making any sense? Because it's actually that question, to be disqualifying yourself. It's the word is burning up in me, because how can you even how you haven't even gotten there? You haven't experienced love with this person, but you're already saying no, you will not be good enough. How? You understand what I'm saying?
No, I hear what you're saying. It's making sense. But I think the part that's a bit trippy is that you're saying you made the example of like qualifying, right? So you're saying like in this situation the person has not qualified yet for the love is what you're saying. And then they disqualify themselves before qualifying.
Yes.
Is what you're saying. I think it makes sense. It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but how? That's why I'm a bit frustrated with the idea of people disqualifying themselves if they haven't, because to be disqualified you need acceptance.
The thing is that, which is why this question is connected to the last one, is that love is universal. It's the same taste. And I feel that at times, and I know like the best way I can use this example is if I think about the love of Jesus. And why I say that is that it's the perfect love of like he died on the cross for you, and he's all he wants is you. And I feel at times when you think about your sins and you think about just how what a bad person you've been, it's easy for you to disqualify yourself from that love because you think there's no way I deserve this. There's no way I deserve this. And it's the same with people, is that, someone meets has a lineage of being with bad guys, bad men, bad men. And even when they meet the right guy, it's like, there's no way I deserve this. People go there, or they think, I'm not pretty enough. Look at him. He looks flippin' photoshopped. There's no way I deserve that. There's no way. I'm not smart enough for that. I'm not qualified. I don't have enough degrees for that. I don't have the perfect body for that. I don't have the perfect face for that. I'm not smart enough for that. You know why? Because in the past, that's what the past people have told me. Past people have said, I'm this, I'm that. And if they couldn't love me, there's no way you can. And so you use someone else's, comments about who you were as a benchmark of what you deserve in love. What is and that is where the next question comes in is, do you think that people accept less love than they deserve because they really do believe that they are difficult to love? There's just some people who, like I'm gonna use this as an example, and it's just an example. Miss Kuta over here, she is a very unique person, and Kuta tells you the way it is. If she likes something, she likes it. If she doesn't, she doesn't. And like Kuta is very much like, she wants things done right to the T. All dots, like she wants it right. And if it's not right, then it's less than. She will not participate. And Kuto can be told all her life, no, but you demand too much, you want too much, you expect too much of people, you want too much. And I think that can push people to accept less because she's been rewired to believe that how she is, who she is too much. She's expecting too much. So, sorry guys, I'm talking too much, but do you guys think sometimes people accept less love than they deserve because they believe they're difficult to love?
Yes. Because then you qualify for that love. I had to say it. You feel deserving of that love. You feel like this is the love. People accept that because it's easier to say to yourself, well, he does. Okay, I'm going to use a romantic relationship here because this is easier
me too.
in terms of explanation for me. So, but let's say a girl is being mistreated in a relationship. Like the previous episode, we had Jackety Jack. And
Ora! We can't see your face.
Yes. It's looking good. And so Jack was mistreating that girl at the end of the day. He was mistreating her. And it would have been easier for her to say, though Jack is right, I am this, I am that. People that are hard on themselves, when they receive hard treatment from others, it's easier for them to accept that because they're already hard on themselves. I feel like if you feel you deserve real, healthy, beautiful love, you will receive it because you won't spend time with people that wouldn't give you that. If you are the person that you pour in people's cups, you are the one who gives real love. You are genuine in your love. You wouldn't give love to people that you wouldn't want to give love to. So you are intentional in giving that love. You wouldn't accept less because you don't give less. you give beyond yourself, right? So you receiving beyond yourself would make sense, right? But I just sometimes feel people that accept less is either two things. They give less, which is rare because people who give less always expect more. But the other side of it is something happened in their life where they believe they deserve less. And personally, more is more for me. I've never sat down and reflected on myself, like my dear sister here said, that I've never sat down and said to myself, well, I'm not accept I'm not worth this kind of love. You know what I mean?
You deserve it all.
Exactly. I feel like that example that example, of Jesus, or even in my own family, I've never been given second second best. I've always given first best, but Kuto first best. You know what I mean? I've never been given Kele second best or my brother second best, but it was always Kuto first best. And so having to accept love that I know I don't deserve.
Okay, back to the I want to kind of touch on the difficulty to love because when you're saying like you feel you're difficult to love, you're basically saying you feel you're hard to understand or hard to access. So then we change it up to be like, okay, I'm going to accept less because I feel like there isn't more out there. And then another person will be like, they feel they deserve less. So I feel you feel you deserve less is I feel another whole nother conversation. It's a whole nother conversation because deserving less, you feel it's the whole you're not good enough. It's a more of a self-esteem questions. I mean, topic. It's a whole nother like self-esteem topic. And then the accepting of less love because of you feel you're difficult to love is you are basically succumbing. You're basically surrendering in a way, surrendering. Because you're saying like, okay, I'm gonna accept this because I know there is better. I know where my standards need to lie. I know where it needs to be at. But you're saying, wait, no. I'm taking it a bit far. Sorry. Let me bring it back. What I'm trying to say is, as human beings, you could be like, we're all unique, right? So how we process the world is also very unique, and your understanding and the way you operate could be unique, and you could feel that the way you operate won't be the way people accept. People will find that very hard and difficult. So instead of allowing yourself to be hard and difficult, you you lower yourself basically. So you're saying, okay, instead of finding people who do understand you, you start being like, okay, I'm gonna accept this because it's all that there is, or it's all that I deserve because it's all that, yeah, basically. So, yeah, yeah, the answer would be yes. People do accept less love because they feel than they deserve for sure. Because I feel when it comes to deserving, I feel it's something that we've been talking about throughout this series of deserving love. I just want to point out everybody deserves love. Every single person deserves love. You deserve love. Whoever's listening, you deserve love. I think it's something that we shouldn't cancel out. But how much of it, how much are you willing to accept is something that we need to talk about. I think if I would bring it to a personal level, a lot of something I've spoke about, like why I wouldn't be in a relationship right now, is because relationship love to me feels too big. It feels like a very different, like like you develop it rather than it's already there. With family, it's like it's already there. From a young age, I don't remember the first time I was like, oh, I love my mom or something. So it's kind of just already ingrained in me. And then when it comes to relationship love, you have to accept this different form of love. And to me, right now, it feels a bit big. It feels like you need to be in a position where you tell yourself that it's safe, it's okay to accept it. So I think it comes with that. You feel like you're not, people don't understand you, or people don't, are not in the same sort of your way of processing the world, essentially. Yes.
Um, do you feel like you've ever had a moment where you asked yourself, like, is there something wrong with me? Because I feel like I've had, like, I can think of maybe two moments where it was like, I think it was like thinking of like the situation of how it was with like friends, and like listening to other people and thinking, these people are getting it right. Like, is there something wrong with me? Because why am I not accepting this or seeing this, or, like something's missing? But have you guys ever felt like that?
I have. I've asked myself um, questions, trying to evaluate where my core problem was, believing and thinking that if I could it, figure out what that problem would be, I would feel like I have a solution to love or being accepted. That combination is one thing for me. And I feel like it made things more complicated because once you've tackled one thing, there's always another thing that you have to tackle when it comes to that. I don't think there's one answer to that. And I think I have, and my word, it's just made my appreciation of who I am more difficult. Because now when you're thinking about these questions, and I mean, the root of the question is one, but the amount of different things that come from that root feels like it's damaging that internal peace of being able to discover more parts of yourself, being able to appreciate parts of yourself. And that feels like it alienates you to accepting that this is who you are and this is how you want to be loved. Then focusing on how hard it is to love you, you know? Ratire, before we end this podcast, please share your wisdom.
What's the question?
Have you ever had a moment when you genuinely wondered, is there something wrong with me?
Yes. You know what? I feel we all not constantly. You know what? I would say we all, but I feel there's people who are truly, um, they grow up with people pouring so much into them that they don't, uh, think, they don't go through thoughts like that. And then you have people who are like narcissists who are unable to look outside of themselves. But if I were to talk about myself, I have had those moments so many times. I feel it's a very human experience where we feel like something is wrong with us because we're constantly um questioning, you know. The thing with growing up is I always explain it this way. It's like you're young and your lenses are like this, are literally just like this. This is all you see. So you don't um think beyond that. And then as you grow older, the lenses keep widening and widening and widening, and you get to a point where you're like you see everything. Okay? So when you see everything, it means you process a lot. A lot, a lot. And with processing a lot is like it brings so much doubt, so much doubt in your abilities, in your what to give, because you start comparing as well. Comparison is a thing. You see other people and you're like, but why? Yeah, you start questioning like, why are they more, like, why are they easier to love than me? Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I got to be doing something wrong because they're receiving like such amount of like so much love, so it must mean that they're doing something that I'm not doing. So I think that doubt is weirdly it can be something sort of good because through that you can learn to love yourself, because through questioning and through introspection you get to realize that you don't need to do all of that, because the whole point of like going through that process is that you learn that we're all different, because you eventually reach that point, I hope, where you're like, oh, it's because we're different. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Now, don't let all the secrets out there in the world. I mean, the podcast now has come to an end, but you're giving them all the secrets, girl.
sorry,
They ain't gonna come back.
sorry.
They ain't gonna come back.
No, actually, I wanted to like this is like a short statement. Kuto, what would you say to someone right now who's listening to the podcast who secretly is asking themselves, "Am I hard to love?" I would say probably yes, but you deserve it. You deserve to be loved, no matter how hard it is hard. No matter how hard it is to love you, I believe everyone is hard to love, and they still deserve it. They still deserve love. And Ora, what is your short statement to the person
I would say
who's wondering the same thing?
we accept the love we think we deserve.
Well, I would say to you that similarly to them, I think that you do deserve to be loved, and the right person will never think that you are too much of anything, if not too much of a blessing. But guys, that was our final question in our What is Love series. I can't believe that's done. We really hope you guys enjoyed this series as much as we did. And I really do hope that maybe sometime next year, maybe next year we will bring it back again. And in the future we'll visit some other topics with a bit more depth and different perspectives, maybe guests as well, I don't know. But thank you so much for listening. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, send to the people that are incredible in your life. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Let's Talk About It. Until next time with our new series, can't wait for next week. Have a wonderful week. Bye.